Hey guys, welcome to the October 2015 edition of Commander on a Budget here on the Need to Hone Magic channel. This month I've decided to go with something a little festive. You know, it's fall, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, and there's lots of fall holidays and fall festivals that various cultures celebrate, and scarecrows are part of some of those holidays and festivities. So I decided to make a deck around Reaper King for the month of October. It's a 5-color commander deck. But it's more green than anything else because green helps fix. And if you don't know what Reaper King does, he's a Scarecrow Lord, and whenever a Scarecrow enters the battlefield under my control, I get to vindicate a permanent, destroy a permanent. So that's pretty sweet. In this video, more than I do usually in these Commander on a Budget videos, I'll talk about the lands because they're obviously important. This deck can pretty consistently get 5 colors in play on turn 5 and play Reaper King. And that's partly because of the lands that are in it. So we have Ancient Ziggurat, can add mana of any color in my mana pool, but only for creature spells. Blood Crypt, the red-black pain land, or shock land. Clifftop Retreat, the red-white, comes into play tapped unless you control mountain or plains land. Command Tower, which can add any color because of who my commander is. Drowned Catacomb for blue and black. Exotic Orchard for any color. Some forests. Forsaken City, which can add for any color. I mean, though it does have some drawbacks, it's cheap. So, Glacial Fortress, which can add blue or white. Godless Shrine, which can add black or white. Grand Colosseum, which can add any color. Hollowed Fountain, which can add blue or white. One Island. Isolated Chapel for black or white. Karplusan Force for red and white. Mirrodin's Core can add any color. 2 mountains, 2 plains. I'll explain why I have basics in here at all in a second. Rootbound Crag for red and green. Rupture Spire can add any color. Red and white for Sacred Foundry. Blue or red for Sulphur Falls, a couple swamps. And then the Vivid Lands, and the Vivid Lands are pretty awesome for any 5-color or even 3 or 4-color, I guess, commander deck because they only cost a cent a piece on Magic Online and they can add any color to your mana pool. It's a pretty good bang for your buck. And they can all add one of the colors you need anyway. So that's the lands for the deck. This stack here is all Scarecrows or things that have synergies with Scarecrows. So we have Heapdoll, just a 1-mana 1/1 who can exile a card from a graveyard, which is relevant. But the key thing to remember is if you have Reaper King in play, it also gets to destroy a permanent, and it's a 2/2. Jawbone Skulkin, another 1-mana 1/1 with an ability. Chainbreaker, 2 mana for a 3/3. Can remove -1/-1 counters from things, including itself. Shapesharer, which is a shapeshifter, so it's also a Scarecrow, and it's just a good card in general because it can really screw up your opponent's. If your opponent has the best creature in play, you can just keep making your Shapesharer into it. Grim Poppet, which can remove stuff, and it's a 4/4. Crib Swap is a pretty flexible one in the deck. I can cast it to exile my own creature and get a 1/1 Scarecrow Shapeshifter token, or I can use it to remove an opponent's creature, and having that flexibility is good. Mirror Entity, another very good changeling who can break the game open. Pilipala, who's both a Scarecrow and it can do some color fixing if I need it. Ghostly Changeling, kind of an average changeling, but fine nonetheless. Wing Rattle Scarecrow. This cycle of Scarecrows, it all has like certain keyword abilities. If you control a certain colored creature, has all of those keyword abilities if Reaper King's in play, in addition to it destroying a permanent when it comes into play. Tatterkite, another Scarecrow. Scuttlemutt, this one's also one that can add 1 mana of any color, so fits really well into the deck. I just showed you that. One-Eyed Scarecrow, just a dude who can weaken my opponent's flyers, relevant sometimes. Lurebound Scarecrow, a pretty interesting one. It's a 3-mana 4/4, but if I lose control of a permanent of the chosen color, it just dies. Thornwatch Scarecrow, another one who gets keyword abilities if I control certain colored permanents, creatures I think actually. Hoof Skulkin, Rattleblaze Scarecrow, another one with special keyword abilities. Cairn Wanderer, another very good shapeshifter, changeling guy. It's important to remember it also counts your opponent's graveyard, so he'll have keyword abilities a lot of the times, like flying and stuff like that, even if we don't have guys with it. Antler Skulkin, Changeling Berserker. The ones who have champion a creature are especially nice because they come into play and destroy a permanent, and then should the Berserker die when it leaves play, the Scarecrow that comes back into play will then destroy another permanent. Shell Skulkin can give blue creatures Shroud, which counts our Reaper King. Blaze Thorn Scarecrow, Haste and Wither if you control certain colored permanents. Scrap Basket, which can become all colors when it wants to. Conjurer's Closet, it's a card I love. If you've seen some of my other videos, I have a black-white casual deck built around it. It's really good in this deck because you can just bounce a Scarecrow every turn and nuke a permanent. And few more Scarecrows. We have Lockjaw Snapper, who has Wither, and then can put a -1/-1 counter on all creatures that have -1/-1 counters. Wicker Warcrawler, 5 mana 6/6, who gets smaller. Changeling Hero, another champion, a creature that has the awesome upside of nuking a permanent, and then should he die, nuking another one. Chameleon Colossus, probably the best changeling they ever printed. And then over here we have mana fixing, which of course is important when I want to get to 5 colors, as I do. So we have Farseek, which can search us out all of our shock lands and any basic land we want. Sylvan Caryatid, which can add any color of mana. Utopia Tree can do the same. Kaleidostone draws me a card when there's a battlefield, and I can pay 5 of any color and sack it to cast my Reaper King the first time anyway. Sphere of the Suns can add mana of any color temporarily. Font of Fertility lets me search my library for any basic land. Cultivate lets me search for 2 basic lands. So does Kodama's Reach. Shaman of the Forgotten Way can add 2 mana in any combination of colors to my mana pool, and his formidable ability might occasionally be useful, who knows. Vessel of Endless Rest adds any color. Manolith adds any color. Soul Ring, I'm sure you all know, adds 2 to my mana pool. Dark Steel Ingot adds any color. Commander's Sphere adds any color in this deck. Chromatic Sphere adds any color and lets all of my lands add any color, so it's pretty sweet. Twisted Abomination lets me search for a swamp, which includes shock lands. Alloy Mirror adds color, 8 mana of any color. Explosive Vegetation lets me search for 2 basic land cards and put them into play. Then we have Eternal Dragon, who lets me search for any plains and can also be a threat if I need him to be. Jesse and Zombies can give me an island or a swamp, including shock lands. Peregrination, 2 basic lands and lets me scry. Meteorite adds any color and can be a little removal spell if it needs to be. Gilded Lotus adds 3 mana of any one color. Composite Golem is a guy I can just sack to cast my Reaper King. And Shard Convergence lets me search for every kind of land card except for Forest, so it lets me basically set up to cast my Reaper King. And over here I just sort of have, good cards that fit into the deck. Having the ability to play Charms is always nice about playing multicolored decks. Charms are super flexible cards, so I'm packing 5 of the better ones I think that have been printed. And so we have Croesus's Charm. Lets us bounce a permanent, destroy a non-black creature or an artifact, so crazy strong. Bant Charm lets me nuke an artifact, put a creature on the bottom of my owner's library or counter an instant spell, also crazy strong. Treva's Charm lets me exile attacking creatures, destroy enchantments, and its third effect is actually super mediocre, but the first 2 are good. Abzan Charm, of course, is a recent one, lets me exile big creatures, draw cards if I need to, and put +1/+1 counters on my guys if I need to. Sultai Charm lets me remove monocolored creatures, artifacts, or enchantments, and it lets me draw 2 cards and discard a card, so it's really strong. Then I just have Vandal Blast. Destroying all my opponent's artifacts is often important. Austere Command, also a nice flexible card that can be used to blow up my opponent's board, and Champion's Helm to protect my Reaper King. So that's the whole deck. This edition of Commander on a Budget is a little more expensive. I think it's the most expensive one I've done so far, probably because of the fact that I have to run so many non-basic lands. But I don't have any of the ultra expensive ones, so it's still only about $31, which for a Commander deck is pretty good. And this is in early October, I should say. This will probably be posted about a week from when I'm recording it, so keep that in mind. But prices will be about the same, and that's the whole deck. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways is someone you could cut. I have him in here just because I drafted one once, but if you wanted the deck to be $5 cheaper, then he could definitely get cut for a more affordable card. But still a pretty cheap deck. It's a nice festive deck for the time of year as well. And so now I'll play 3 matches with it. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.